Hey everybody, it's been a little while, but not that long compared to previous times. Uh, this is one that I wanted to do a little while ago, just haven't gotten around to it. So I'm in my kitchen because I've got some props here more than normal. And if you can't tell that I'm obsessed with pugs by looking behind me, my aunt actually made that one for me. My mom found that for me. And over there is Humphrey the Lovable Little Pug's annual cartoon calendar. Uh, yeah, I found that after having a pug, once you're in it, you're in it. You're part of that group for life. So, anyway, that's kind of fun. But I'm out here because I have more props than normal. I'm going to be reviewing Breaking Out of Heaven, the Heaven and Hell box set that came out earlier this year. So, of course, Black Sabbath by any other name is still Black Sabbath. It's the lineup of Tony Iommi on guitar, Geezer Butler on bass, Ronnie James Dio on vocals, and Vinny Appice on drums. And, everybody knows they had the acrimonious split in the early 1980s during the mixing of the Live Evil sessions. And then, come on. They had a great thing going. Dehumanizer was a fantastic record in 92. And for them to agree to play Ozzy's first farewell show, um, as an opening act, Tony and Geezer, be part of the show. Of course, Dio left, took Appice with him. They honored the Sabbath dates. Um, Dio went on to reform that band with Appice on drums, Jeff Pilson on bass, and Tracy G on guitar, making Strange Highways, which was really, to me, if you listen to it, is the spiritual successor to Dehumanizer. And I get the feeling that some of those songs, and maybe you guys can confirm or deny this, I've always felt that a handful of those songs at least had been meant for the next Black Sabbath record. So anyway, they had, two very acrimonious splits. Said a lot of bad things about each other, but as happens, especially in musicians, time, I don't know if it heals all wounds, but it certainly puts them to rest. And I was very surprised in 2006 when it was announced that the following spring this was going to be coming up. Black Sabbath, the Dio Years, a collection of the best of the Ronnie James Dio years, especially since they had just done, several Ozfest tours as the original Black Sabbath. Uh, but I think Sharon Osbourne said it best. The original guys in Sabbath are like a bunch of old women fighting, is how she put it. And so anyway, they got back together with Ronnie James Dio and Vinny Appice and did three new songs: "The Devil Cried," "Shadow of the Wind," and "Ear in the Wall." I like them. I don't love them. I saw this tour. They toured behind us in May of 2007. Saw them at Cobo Hall in Detroit, one of the last big shows to be held there, I think. Um, they Life changing is a good word for that, because not only was the magic back, but they had years of experience. They put things behind them. They were all old friends on stage. And so this was really cool to get to see. Um, I think the new songs were better live than they were in the studio. And so, and also, just as a side, concurrently, around the same time, Rhino Handmade put out live at Hammersmith Odeon from the New Year's Eve shows from 81 going into 82. So these all came out around the same time. Pretty cool. They did before they mounted the major American tour. Um, they played a Canadian run and then did a great show at Radio City Music Hall in New York City. And by all accounts, it was stellar. And I should note, because later in 2007, even more Black Sabbath, but not named Black Sabbath. They changed the name to Heaven and Hell, named after the first album, of course, with Ronnie James Dio singing, and as well to differentiate themselves from Black Sabbath. This way, they didn't have to do all the tired old war horses. They were able to focus on their material, which I think was the absolute best move. Because Heaven and Hell, Mob Rules, Dehumanizer, all incredibly strong albums. So We got this in 2007. We got the 2 CD set and the DVD. Um, Absolutely essential listening to me if you're a fan of this lineup of the band. Um, then in 2008, they did I think it was an 18 city run called the Metal Masters Tour, where it was Testament, Motorhead, Heaven and Hell, and Judas Priest. Lucky enough to see that at Pine Knob in Clarkston, Michigan, a bit north of Detroit. Killer show. Getting to hear Overkill, Heaven and Hell, and Painkiller all in one night it was absolutely phenomenal. And so they kept taking things just one step at a time, sort of deciding. You can hear my pug, by the way, being my guard pug, because I'm sure the wind is blowing outside. Um, it was announced a while later that there would be a full studio record from this band, which excited me. They released the single Bible Black, and I thought, okay, these guys have still got it. And Bible Black to me was heads above water compared to the three new songs on the deals. Again, not that those are stinkers; they're good, heavy, sludgy songs. But I thought, oh, there's promise for this. And so in 2009, we got The Devil You Know. Because again, Sabbath by any other name is still Sabbath, but they called it Heaven and Hell, Devil You Know. Grotesque, wonderful, fantastic, evil artwork. Still using the flying devil there. I got the Best Buy exclusive at the time, and so it came with this making of The Devil You Know. So it's not a very long DVD, but some really awesome background to the band and the making of this album. So uh, when this came out, I was a little underwhelmed. I think a lot of people were because I thought, oh, The Devil You Know was fantastic, and I like it. It's my least favorite of the four Dio Years albums, but I still enjoy it. I didn't play this one for a long, long time. And then, of course, we lost Ronnie James Dio in May of 2010, and they put out as a tribute 30 Years of Heaven and Hell, the CD and DVD, live at the Wacken Festival that summer in 2009. Had the chance to see them again about a month and a half after this. You would never know that Ronnie James Dio was ill and would eventually succumb to stomach cancer because he gave everything he had, and he sounded every bit as good as he had on the previous two tours. I will say what I don't like is with the DVD, you get the entire show, all the between song banter, and the last song is a medley of Country Girl and Neon Nights. Well, I bought the CD. Where the hell is Country Girl? They went from Heaven and Hell and then just did a very shoddy chop job and maybe it was to save space so they didn't have to make it a 2 CD set. I don't know, but I love the song Country Girl, so I was very annoyed then that it was not included. But anyway, then, so the DVD that came out later in 2010, 30th anniversary interviews with all the band members, as well as a Ronnie James Dio tribute from the other three guys. Now that I've prattled on this long, now we finally come to the subject of today's video. Breaking Out of Heaven, the Heaven and Hell box set from 2007 to 2009. To say I was shocked that this was coming out. When it was announced, I thought, some kind of prank, because I think as Sabbath fans, there are other albums that we thought / hoped should get the deluxe box set treatment. I'm still waiting for the Born Again remix and reissue. And my favorite of the Ozzy era is Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. And to me, that deserves a deluxe treatment as well. Certainly more so than Technical Ecstasy. But that's neither here nor there. Anyway, so it was announced earlier this year it was coming out. Came out a couple of months ago, and like I said, I just haven't gotten to it. And it is Breaking Out of Heaven, 2007 to 2009. I love the artwork on this. I was super excited because every Sabbath box set that I have bought so far Sabotage, the Live Evil reissue remix, the Tony Martin years, just they've blown me away. And so we got The Devil You Know live at Radio City Music Hall, and Neon Nights, The 30 Years of Heaven and Hell. So let's unbox this. Now, it should be stated that there are no remixes here. This is all remasters and um, mastered for vinyl. And the vinyl box set does not include the Blu-ray that has the concert, and I can't remember which concert it was, Radio City or Bakken, but it has that on Blu-ray, and on that same Blu-ray apparently is this. I can't confirm because I haven't bought the CD box set yet, and I probably will. And so, anyway, as I was unboxing, I'm just like, oh, this is cooler than hell. This is fantastic. So you have a tour program from 2007, replica, and it's just, goes through all the little bios and everything, and um, yeah, just cool promo pictures and vintage stuff. That's awesome to have. Oh, this was on the back originally. Just saying what's in there, and then there's I don't even know if I'm going to unfold this whole thing for you, but you've got a replica of the Devil You Know poster. So that I was thrilled to have that. I don't put them up like I used to. Um, and as with some of the other books or box sets, it's got a booklet, that's got ends, of course, with the heaven and hell. The world is full of kings and queens who blind your eyes and steal your dreams. It's heaven and hell. And it goes through the history of 2007 through 2009 with the band. Really cool stuff. I was thrilled about all of that. Because, again, these Sabbath box sets, they're so worth the money. The sound on them is amazing. Um, just I can't speak well enough of the mastering that Iommi and his team do. So, chronologically, then, 3 LP version of Live at Radio City Music Hall. The sound is as good, if not better, than the original CD release. I'll say that for all of these. Um, excuse me. It's, again, great packaging. All the stuff that was in the original CD now is made larger, and we can actually see it and appreciate it. 3 LPs, 6 sides, absolutely killer show. Did a magnificent job on this. Um, Devil You Know is interesting because it's a 2 LP set. And I think at one point there wasn't a single LP pressing of this that I never got my hands on, and it cost a lot of money in the aftermarket. So it has sides 1 through 3 have the original studio record, and then the Black Sabbath bonus tracks are side 4. And you know what? I had not listened to this in a very long time, years and years. Again, only because, well, you can only listen to so much, and if it isn't your favorite or your top 5 or whatever, spinning this gave me a whole new appreciation for this record. That's how good I think it sounds. Did they need to include the three Dio years tracks? You know, I don't know, and I don't know about the legalities of taking Black Sabbath and putting it on a Heaven and Hell record, but I don't care. It's there. Take it or leave it. If you don't want to listen to them, don't flip the second record over. If you do, great. But really, again, great job. They got all the lyrics and everything, and the credits, and yeah, just the sound on this, the remastering on that. Again, fantastic. Iommi and his team do a magnificent job. Now, guess what song also did not make it to the 2 LP set? That really irks me. It irks me that they did such a shoddy chop job of going from Heaven and Hell right into Neon Nights. Maybe if you weren't there at the shows, you wouldn't know, but I was. I saw them on all these tours, um, and everyone was fantastic. And I will say too, so many live albums. Almost every live album has a little studio trickery or some touch ups here and there. As somebody who was there, and again, it's been a lot of years, but if memory serves me as best as it can, these sound so close to what we actually heard as an audience that night. I don't think there's a whole lot of overdubbing and garbage that goes on here. And so, and there certainly couldn't have been with this one, at least vocally, because Ronnie had passed by the time this was released. Now, that said, I do Friday Night Live every week, just about every week, and it was so cool to be able to have vinyl pressings of Radio City and the Wacken Festival. Um, and it just visually, it's just stunning. The vinyl is so clean and so pure. The sound is amazing that I cannot, as a fan, as a collector, not and again, the curse is real, right? Because did I really, really need all this stuff? Yeah. You know what? In my mind, I did. I was so excited to have this. Ronnie James Dio took the band to another level and came at a time, everybody knows the story of, Ozzy being forced out, Bill having to be the poor guy to kick him out. But it revitalized the band and it changed the way the other guys wrote and played. And okay, I'm just going to say it. For as much as I love Ozzy Osbourne and the Ozzy years with Sabbath, musically, the Ronnie James Dio years do more for me. And again, that's not knocking the incredible legacy of the original four guys. As a matter of fact, on Radio City, Dio even says, "Thanks for supporting us all these years, even when the guys were with Ozzy, when they weren't, et cetera, et cetera." He shows gratitude toward being a longtime fan of all of these guys as musicians. So if you are a fan, if you had these before and you were on the fence about grabbing this box set, get off the fence and order it. I bought it from Third Coast Vinyl in Muskegon. Paul was kind enough to pre-order it for me, and I'm glad he did because I think the pre-order sold out, and it was hard to come by for a while. But this is absolutely on par with all the other box sets that they've come out sonically, packaging wise, information wise. This is what makes a box set good. This is an example of what makes a box set really good. So again, I would give this like 9 out of 10 stars. If if they had included Country Girl, I would bump it up to a 10. That's how passionate I am about giving us the entire show. And especially on two LPs, they could have made it work. You know what I mean? So anyway, that said, thank you for being here with me. Thank you for watching my channel like you do. I have, a very small but very cool uh, a group of viewers. So thank you guys so much, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. And if you haven't picked up this box set, go get it. If you didn't know it existed, go grab it. Even if you grab the CDs and then you get the DVD with it, and I will pick that up eventually. It's just, there's so much good music coming out, so much I'm after. You sort of have to pick and choose where funding is going to be spent sometimes. I'm sure a lot of you guys can appreciate that. But I've got the shows on DVD and I've got the bonus DVD. So I have everything that's included. I already have some version of. I'm just waiting to get the rest. But this is like a crown jewel in the collection. So thank you, everybody. Take care of yourselves. Let me know what you think of it in the comments. Let me know what you think of the Dio years. Again, we're not here to crap on the Ozzy years or the Tony Martin or anything. We're talking solely about the last few years of the Dio run in Black Sabbath. Because again, Sabbath by any other name, still Black Sabbath, even if it's Heaven and Hell and has a killer logo like that. So cheers, everybody. Take care.